So here we have a Hidealoo unit that's straight out of the box, opening from what we say is the left side to the right side. It's right swinging. So when it opens, it goes to this side here, locks in place. I'm going to change that from right swinging to left swinging, and I'll show you how to do that. These are all the parts you've removed. That's the static lock arm. This is the door mounting plate for the lock action system. That is the lock action arm, and that is the closed position magnet stay. So this whole lock mechanism, which is the static lock arm here, is going to go across to the other side. The same with this whole door lock release system, which is all this part in here. That's all going to swap to the other side of this plate here, and I'm going to swap the magnet over. So first thing to remove is this guy. So that's the lock arm removed, and the nuts and bolts put back in the arm for safekeeping for now. That can be put to one side. Next thing to get off is going to be this whole lock action assembly. And what's probably easiest to do first is to undo the lock door action plate, this thing here on the side. And that you can do with this top screw here, and then the one underneath down there. Then we'll remove the main assembly and start swapping sides over. To get this whole side plate off, you have to undo that screw in there, as I've now done. Don't lose the top hat and the washer underneath there. And likewise the M5 lock arm connection here. So slacken off that nut and then reach on the inside and undo the inside nut to pull that out.
Once you have all the bolts out, then you can pull that little collar out of there. It's a stainless steel sleeve. And then put that to one side, don't lose it. That will now move out sideways to release the arm. Don't lose the washer that's underneath there either.
Next is to remove the lock arm assembly here. So that screw there and this one inside. So the last thing to remove is this guy here, which is the closed position magnet stay. So it's a fixing from this side, either Allen key or a screw, and then from that side another little Allen key. So this is the Hidealoo now with all those parts removed. So this Hidealoo now can operate as a right swing unit or a left swing unit. In this condition here, obviously it goes from this position towards the left and stops in the middle. We'll now refit all the parts to make that happen. These are all the parts you've removed. That's the static lock arm. This is the door mounting plate for the lock action system. That is the lock action arm, and that is the closed position magnet stay. This lock arm, we've got one more change to make. We've got to reverse this little plate here so that it operates the other way round. So we've now reversed that little magnet lock stay arm, and it's pointing out the other side of the whole lock assembly. We'll now refit this back on the unit. So the lock arm was originally mounted here. We're now going to move it all the way around to the other side to mount on this side of it here, like that. So when you fit this lock arm assembly, it's important to get it vertical, and there's a little bit of play in the joints to make sure that that's easily done, because this will control the angle of the door if you fit the door to this side. So we're going to use a spirit level like that, set the bubble in the middle, and then do up these two screws. One quick tool tip with all this is these Allen socket cap bolts are quite hard to get to, but you can solve that by having an Allen key with a ball end on it, because that ball end can go in there at an angle and still operate. And then you just finally tighten it by putting it in in its more conventional fashion like that. And then pulling, don't pull too tight, doesn't need it. So next up is to fit the door mounting plate back on again. I'm going to take them off for now. That's the slip washer. That goes on the top in there. I'm going to push this sleeve back a bit so it's out of the way. Move the bolt. Then we're going to slide the whole thing over the joint. Inside there's already a top hat bush. That can stay in. Bottom one, I'm going to remove the washer, push the pin back, take the bolt out, and then lift the whole bracket on. I'm going to slip the washer in afterwards. When you put this plate on, remember you want this edge here at the back, because it's going to connect to this guy here. That twist is round. and that will be fixed to the back of that plate, and then that moves in and out to operate the lock system up and down. So this shows the door action plate with the top bolt put back in and the washer already in there, but not the bottom one yet. So now I'm going to slip this washer into that joint, making sure it's nice and clear. You can see from this I removed the swivel sleeve, that guy there, to make it easier to slide the washer in. Not quite in yet. I've got it enough of the way in to then put an Allen key up the hole to drag it into the right position, and then we'll fit the bolt back through that once it's all aligned. So once those swivel bolts are back in place, the sleeve is inside there, that's in place, the washer's underneath, that should then swivel nicely like this. Then just connect up the back M5 fixing into that hole. So with the M5 bolt back through there, clamped on the inside nicely, down here. So with the M5 bolt and the nuts just nipped up enough to hold it nice and tightly, that will mean the lock arm can go in and out to operate the lever. So the next thing to put on is this guy, the missing static lock arm. Okay, so this is the static lock arm now reassembled. 2 bolts here, 1 bolt there. Nothing needs to be crazy tight, it's all heavily over-engineered. This is the lock pull here, and it moves up and down on that wedge spacer. When it comes into lock like that, it drops. You can adjust the height of that if you wish to by using the stop bolt underneath, that one there. Just wind it up and down a little bit, and that will set this height so that when the door is coming in, for instance like this, it rides up and locks in. So the last thing to fit is this guy, which is the closed position magnet stay, and that fits in the top hole up here like that. So this is the closed position magnet stay now fitted. The Allen key locks against the sleeve nut on the other side, and a little bit of play on there so that when you close the toilet, that can self-align to best stick to the frame. So there you have it. This is now a left swing Hidealoo unit. Here in its deploy position, release the lock, close it to there, and that's where it will be. So the pan will now move towards the left-hand side of the unit as you open it.
Any problems, please visit the website and call or email us. Happy Hidealooing!